Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
New for you at noon. One woman is recovering following a crash that State Patrol says involved alcohol. Now, troopers say 68-year-old Harold Moose of Stephen, Minnesota was heading west on 5th Street West when he pulled out in front of a vehicle, causing the crash. It happened around 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday, September 9th. The other vehicle was driven by 50-year-old Lori Bagel of Hullock, Minnesota. Bagel was taken to Kitson Memorial Health Care for her injuries, but is expected to be okay. The crash report shows Moose was under the influence of alcohol during the crash. One man is facing multiple charges after he allegedly used a hammer to kill a man who was asleep with his young children and seriously injured 2 others in South Dakota. Officials say 39-year-old Rich Montanez was letting the man stay at home because he was homeless. 28-year-old Alexis Mounts Thrice is charged with first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder in the attack. Family members says Montanez was a single father of 3 children. 2 women in the house, Montanez's roommate and the roommate's friend, were also attacked and are in intensive care. Well, a little birdie tells me that we might see a warm-up this afternoon, but let's check in with meteorologist Lisa Green to see if that news is true.
Well, we are already getting there right now, and it's been a beautiful day. I wanted to show you a time lapse of that sunrise this morning. Starting at 6 a.m., we started to see that light on the horizon. The sun rose, and it's basically looked the same since then. We've got that beautiful blue sky and no clouds in our view here in Fargo on our First Alert Skycam network. So conditions are looking good. They're feeling good. We're finally back to the 60s in spots. We're at 62 degrees in Fargo. The warm spot is Jamestown at 65. We're at 64 in Grand Forks. Oh, I missed Langdon. How could I miss you? You're at 66 degrees. And it's a little cooler over to the east, but we're working our way up there as well. So everybody's starting to warm up here as we're looking into the afternoon with those clear skies. Just a couple of clouds in the south, otherwise looking good here throughout much of the valley. So let's take a look at our hourly planner. We can expect to see mostly sunny skies, continued temperature rises into the upper 60s and maybe even some low 70s. We've got a quiet night tonight. Temperatures will drop, but it's not going to be as cold as it's been. So we're going to talk more about that and how the weekend is shaping up too, coming up in just a few minutes.
The 60-degree weather is much better than the 30s we've been waking up to. Thanks again, Lisa. One armed robbery call brought out a large police presence in the South Fargo neighborhood overnight. Officers scrambled to the Alden Pines apartments in the 1000 block of 42nd Street South just after 10:30 last night. That's the area a few blocks north of West Acres. Several Fargo PD units surrounding the building. Most officers were armed with rifles. We're still waiting to hear from police on what exactly happened and if anyone was hurt or arrested. Family members of George Floyd has been notified that multiple employees of the Minneapolis healthcare system have improperly accessed Floyd's medical records sometime in the last 30 days. Now, Hempinen Healthcare notifying them of the breach and said the employees no longer work there, but there are a few other details. The Floyd family attorney says they are considering legal action. North Dakota voters will decide in November whether the state lawmakers should have the power to review and approve citizen-initiated constitutional amendments. An opposition group says it will effectively give lawmakers veto power over what citizens want, but supporters say the move was inspired by successful ballot measures funded by out-of-state interest. Well, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is calling lawmakers back to the state capitol for a special session tomorrow in an effort to extend his peacetime emergency powers by 30 days. Walz says he wants to make sure the state can continue to quickly and effectively respond to the COVID-19 pandemic. The governor has come under intense fire from GOP lawmakers, Senate Majority Leader Paul Gazelka, and says it's time for the legislature to take charge of the state's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. We're learning more about that COVID-19 vaccine trial that's been halted after one of the volunteers became ill with what happens to be a neurological condition. Meanwhile, the Surgeon General and the doctor who runs the National Institute of Health are promising to stand against political pressure to fast-track the vaccine. NBC's Tom Costello is with Washington with the latest.
From the doctor who runs the NIH and the U.S. Surgeon General, a vow not to let political pressure rush a COVID vaccine before it's ready.
There will be no shortcuts. This vaccine will be safe. it will be effective or it won't get moved along.
I just hope Americans will choose to take the information they need from scientists and physicians and not from politicians.
Their unprecedented comments come after 9 drug company CEOs made a similar promise. And as drug giant AstraZeneca has paused its vaccine trials after one of the participants, a woman in Britain, developed symptoms consistent with transverse myelitis, a serious inflammation of the spinal cord. AstraZeneca says no final diagnosis has been confirmed. The CEO this morning.
So essentially, the process is always in vaccines trials that if you have an event that you didn't expect, then you stop to look at it and explore it and study it. And that's what happened in our case.
Worldwide, tens of thousands of volunteers have signed up for the now paused AstraZeneca trial. One volunteer in South Africa says she's undeterred by the pause, still hoping to be part of the solution.
It's an opportunity to save the world.
2 other drug companies, Pfizer and Moderna, also have vaccine candidates in phase 3 trials.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the regulators ask the Data Safety Monitoring Board to go back and look through the data that's been accrued so far to look for any indication that this side effect may be appearing in the other clinical trials.
While President Trump has been pushing for a vaccine before Election Day, the nation's health experts continue to say it will likely be late this year or early next year before the FDA approves a vaccine. It's unclear how long AstraZeneca's trial will stay on hold, but Dr. Anthony Fauci says the pause proves the system is working.
There is a positive bit of a silver lining to this, that the system is working in trying to protect people with regard to safety.
An independent safety committee in the UK will now look at the woman who became ill and determine if there is any connection between the vaccine and her illness. AstraZeneca says it can restart trials soon. It should just know by the end of the year whether or not the drug is effective. Let's take a look at the COVID-19 numbers. In Minnesota, the Department of Health is reporting 389 confirmed cases of COVID-19, along with 15 new deaths linked to the illness. In total, over 1,800 deaths have been attributed to the disease. Over 75,000 people are listed as recovered. Now in North Dakota, there are 337 new cases, along with 3 more deaths in the state. The death toll now sits at 160. The active case count is up to 2,353. Well, Hornbachers donates a record-breaking amount to the Great Plains Food Bank Checkout Hunger Campaign this morning. The exact amount donated, $99,773. This breaks all previous records over the last 26 years they have hosted this program. In total, $600,000 has been donated to this program. This will provide 300,000 meals for those in need. In 2019 alone, $76,268 was donated. As the pandemic is still impacting each community, the president says he was unsure how much money will be raised this year.
We were kind of questioning that. We knew that everybody would understand the need for food during this time, but you just never know if they were being impacted financially and we're going to be unable to do it. But again, Fargo-Moorhead rises to the occasion every time and really comes out to help their neighbor.
Throughout this campaign, Hornbachers customers made donations during the month of July in checkout lanes at all 9 locations throughout Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead. Well, coming up at noon, researchers are looking into why your kids may be more nervous than normal as they return to school. And will we finally get summer back for a little while? Weather up next to Plan Your Day.